Yeah. Hey, this is Alex Rome from alexromesound.com. Officially, yeah, I got a website and I'm going to be selling some awesome preset packs for future bass on there. I have one coming out August 2nd for Sylenth 1, so keep your eyes out for that. So, my last video entitled How to Make a Booty Slap, How to Remix a Booty Slap or something. You guys all have been begging me to do a video on how I made the drop in that video. So this video is going to answer that question. So here we go. How to make a huge trap drop. I'm going to play it through and then I'm going to show you how I made it. There you go. That was a nice, was able to play it through there. So let's go ahead and delete these extra things so none of us get confused here. The hell is this? Oh geez, that was from the lineup I had before this drop. I'll keep that in for a little bit of trial and error. Let's get rid of that. Output we need, okay, cool. So first thing you're probably wondering is how do I make those fire leads? Well, that's at least when I hear an awesome trap I'm like, damn, how do they make those leads? Because everything else is simple, or so you might think. So let's start with the leads. The leads started out as this. As you can see, there's a mess of effects. This happens to sound like this without all these effects here. This is a type of guitar sampled, so it was quite an electronic-y sounding guitar because it's very affected. You can hear it's very processed, I should say. And it is a reactor prism sound that you get this with Komplete 10. Let's go over here. Komplete 10. Komplete 10, this is the version I have right here. Whoops. I'm not trying to sell you anything, I'm just trying to show you exactly where I got the sound. Got it in this, it's a $400 bundle, but I think you could get Prism by itself, which I think it's only $70, but yeah, it's my favorite for these weird sounding sounds. So I took that, I added chorus to spread it. Well, I'll start from the top since it does this, since it goes from the top. Logic Pro X goes from the top down, so whatever you put first, keep in mind that everything after it's going to happen after that effect. So first thing I have is the EQ. I should probably have that somewhere last. Then I have the compression compressor and then the limiter. So those two things together. And then I have it side chaining. And then I have it spread out. The chorus spread out. So now you could hear it's kind of in both of your ears. Whereas before, it was kind of just monophonic. Excuse me. So that's what I did there. And then I layered that one with this one. Now this is going to be the monophonic signal since that last one was spread out. So I didn't spread this one out. This one will take a nice mono layer. This is another guitar lead called the Hyber in Reactor Prism in that I got with Komplete 10. Like I said, it's a $70 plugin. I love it for those weird sounds. It's just got those weird sounds you've never heard anywhere. So I took those, and it still needed some analoginess in it. So then I went ahead and added this serum here. Wow, that is so huge. So this serum, I made this myself, but don't look at me like I'm some type of god here, because all I did was a couple things and I got that huge lead. That is an incredible lead. This is like the whole thing right here. Distortion C2 in the digital list, and then I put the unison up to 16. I undetuned it a little, so I retuned it, I guess, and came down to the envelope 2, and I modulated the MG Low 24. This starts out on MG Low 12. I like the 24. It's more of a brick wall. So what that's doing is it makes it kind of a pluck. It's a really wide pluck though, so it's barely a pluck, but it is kind of a pluck. The signal is still moving. So what I did was I added the diode 1 distortion and did a little bit of messing around here to get what I wanted, and eventually I got what I wanted. So then I went to hyperdimension and messed around with these knobs too. Don't really know what they do, but I do know if you mess around, it makes sound a little bit different. So I did that until I got what I wanted. And to give you an idea of what I was going for, when I say I got what I wanted, I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how to get it 100% because I'm still Serum. I am not nearly as good at using as I am with Sylenth 1. So I just processed until I got something sounding big, and that's what happened. So I added bright white noise on top of that, because can't go wrong with a little bit of white noise screaming in your ear. Totally helps. So I EQ'd this like this, just a low cut basic high boost, make it a little bit more screamy. And then I went here to the duplication and I duplicated this exact sound, but I turned the reverb off. Yeah, it's a loud sound. Like, it's hurting my ears. I have this volume up too loud. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those off and yeah, just do it from here, because I can't hurt my ears anymore. My ears hurt so bad because I have this volume too high, and I don't want to lower it because then it'll mess you guys up. Your volume will be out of whack. Obviously for you, the volume will be really nice and controlled, but for me, I forgot to do that. So this is the 808. I have it limited for an exact volume straight through, and then I have it downsampled. For this 808, I used a square wave that is cut off instead of the sine wave that is overdriven. So yeah, that is a new style 808 that I've been working with and I've been liking. Only thing I don't like about that is it gets quieter as you move up notes. So like when you use a cut off square, it'll get quieter as you get higher pitched, because that is the cutoff filter working. So it's really important to kill your limiter, kill your limiting, keep that the same volume straight through. Then to get that little hum on top, that little like what do you call it? High pitched like sound on top. That is the downsampling. So without that, you don't get that. So I wanted that to just add a little bit of artifact to that nice big 808. Then, okay, so that, let's get to the drums, because these are, without these, this would not have blew up in your face just as hard. But wait, I actually skipped a part of the leads. So I actually layered these leads. Just with the vocal chop. It could be mine or it could be Lauren's, I don't know. I dropped it into the EXS24 sampler. I didn't make this vocal chop. I don't know whose exactly it is because I didn't make this vocal chop when I made this drop. That I just picked it out of one of my saved chops. So it could be anybody's. It could be a fart for all I know. But yeah, it's probably not a fart. So it's mine or Lauren's, I don't know. And then I use Lauren's wah, so she's doing wah. And then I add a lot of reverb to that and threw that in the background. That one's just to give some background ambience, just give some background sound. You need that background sound. So let's get to the drums like I wanted to get to 5 minutes ago. Oh man, I am forgetting these important steps. So these hi-hats right here aren't actually working as hi-hats. Like they kind of are, but they're not, because these are layered exactly on top of these. Kind of. I actually didn't put them exactly on top of those because I liked it sounding a little bit messy. But these were kind of an attack layer to these leads here. Kind of making more of a punch, which is what I use those for, because I use these for like an introductory hi-hat for the first half of the drop, and then I would then lead into these for the second half. These are like the lead hi-hats. So back to these jumps. This is like a really, it was really a confusing drop. It didn't come together like this. Like this, if I break down the time it took me to make the drop, it's like 2% of that time I built it, I spent building it, and then 98% of the time I spent fine tuning it and adding like shit that I would think was pointless. So let's go back and just play all these drums for you. And those drums are 100, I guess, no, like 95% ultra beat, and then this is the only one that's not. So this snare started out, this is important, this snare started out as this, which you would think is strong enough to handle this drop, but it's not. So I had to layer, I need some kind of white noise, some kind of high-pitched noise on top, so I took a clap and I added a lot of reverb, and it made that snare big enough. The snare wasn't good enough by itself though. So if it sounds not big enough by itself, you have to layer the sound and make it big enough. You have to make it work. I have 4 layers to this lead, and then I had this dick ass little snare. You really need to layer your stuff to make it up to par with everything else. The kick was fine by itself because it got a lot of noise to it. So you hear there's a little bit of artifact to it, so that stood alone pretty well. That's not so much a trap kick, but it totally worked. But as far as this snare goes, yeah, I had to layer it to get some brightness on that, because this kick with the snare alone, with the snare layers alone, are pretty massive. See, so that's like really huge. Get that going, and you can build around that. You can build whatever you want. And now my favorite part, that on the drop. That is on the drop. That is totally like a gun shooting. It's a huge like buzzy sound that I made with Serum. I got a couple little things going here, and all this with just distortion and reverb. I cut the lows out of it, side chained it to the kick, and then I layered it with this little, whatever you call it, hi-hat, I guess that is, or some kind of crash that I got in battery for. Yeah, layered those two together, so it was a great entrance to the drop, really big, all added to the bigness. Sweet. So there you go, guys. That's how I made that drop. The drop is epic. There was a lot to it, though. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, there was a lot to it. So, it's not... it's tough to say. Like, as I usually say, yeah, pretty simple, guys. But it actually took me a while to get this going to be as nice as it is. So... What I took from this that I want to pass on to you is if you make something and it doesn't sound perfect, like this didn't sound perfect. When I had this build leading into this drop, it just didn't sound big for like 2 days. And for those 2 days, I was just playing around, messing with different things, messing with different sizes of things, with different layers until I got this sounding perfect, because I did want to make that booty slap video like a perfect all-around video. So I really had this, I really went in on this and fine-tuned it for a couple days, like I said, to make it sound perfect. And that just goes to show sometimes, like, it's tough to turn things out quickly. Like, I'm pretty quick at when I make certain things, but some things like this just weren't working, and I eventually had it coming out sounding like this. Another thing I didn't show you is just random sound effects for the background, and then I have this, another kind of stabby kind of thing for a kick layer. As you can see, it's not in the beginning because it created a little bit of mud with this mixed with this thing. Then I have it here mixed with these things, but I guess I should take that out because I didn't like it here because of mud, so that doesn't really change anything there. So yeah, I had that, but that's it. All that, and then good mixing made this big. Good mixing. The bigger you can make this, the bigger you can make your mixing, like have everything relevant. Go listen to a few reference songs to see how they mix things, leads compared to bass, and you'll eventually get something awesome like this drop. And yeah, so there you go, guys. I'm Alex Rome. I hope you enjoyed this video and the booty slap video. And keep an eye out for my sample pack, or my preset pack that's coming out on August 2nd for Sylenth 1. It's got 100 presets. It's gonna kill the universe. So there we go, guys. I'm Alex Rome. I'll talk to you soon.